In a statement on corruption in the context of COVID-19, the 9th Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, said, and I quote, "Corruption is criminal, immoral, and the ultimate betrayal of public trust. It is even more damaging in times of crisis, as the world is experiencing now with the COVID-19 pandemic." End of quote. I'm very glad to be here with you today on another edition of The Eagle, your anti-corruption program from the stables of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The theme for the World Anti-Corruption Day is Recover with Integrity. My name is Martha Eche, your anchor on this edition of The Eagle. Stay with me as we commemorate this year's International Anti-Corruption Day.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
It's the Eagle from the EFCC. Time for the Eagle News. Aisha Mohammed is our guide.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has sought the assistance of the International Police Organization, Interpol, on the extradition of Nigerian treasury looters and cybercrime suspect hibernating abroad, as well as fleeing officials of Process and Industrial Developments Nigeria Limited, PNID. The acting chairman of the EFCC, Muhammad Umar Abba, made the appeal when a delegation of the National Central Bureau of Interpol Nigeria, led by Garba Baba Umar, a commissioner of police, paid a courtesy visit to the EFCC headquarters in Abuja. Abba disclosed that the commission needed the support of the Interpol in the extradition of some fugitive, looters, and corrupt elements that fled the country so that they could be forced back home to face justice.
Outstanding suspects that need to be extradited, three of them, like Brendan Cahill, Adam Quinn, and Neil Murray, all of them are hiding in Dublin and the Republic of Ireland. We must graciously need your assistance and intervention so that we can get enough information that could lead to the extradition of these suspects. Closely related to that is also two suspects also being investigated with regard to the PNID case. They are Italians. They have also run away from the country. The information we have is that they are currently in Italy. So we want the assistance of the Interpol in that regard for information that could lead to their extradition. Other areas we need support the Commissioner of Police is the area of some of the fugitives. There are a number of suspects that we are investigating. Some of them they diverted and looted government treasury and absconded away from the country to some of the African countries. We very much like your support in this regard.
The EFCC boss expressed delight over the long-standing robust collaboration between the Commission and the Interpol, and specifically solicited for Interpol's intervention in the arrest of two fleeing Italian suspects being investigated in regards to the PNID case. In his remarks, the head of Interpol Nigeria, Garba Umar, assured the Commission that the Interpol was on the same page with the EFCC on the PNID case and would not relent in its efforts to ensure that justice is served on all in the matter.
Being international criminal police organization is to assist and aid to serve as a catalyst to LEs, law enforcement agencies across the globe. You are quite aware, sir, that we are working hand in hand with you in terms of we are the catalyst that aided the EFCC in making sure the PNID case. I was in Lyon, the IPSG headquarters, and we are also in Belfast as well as UK, alongside your officers that are working on the case. And we made efforts, we made progress, and we have seen it. So we are looking forward also, sir, to make sure that this partnership goes a long way.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC Kaduna Zonal Office has agreed to work together with the Kaduna branch of the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN to ensure that public funds are kept safe. The head EFCC Kaduna Zonal Office, Sanusa Abdullahi, made the declaration while on a courtesy visit to the CBN Kaduna branch and lamented the increasing incidence of loss of money by members of the public to illegal withdrawals by fraudsters through point-of-sale POS and ATM platforms. Abdullahi called for strong collaboration between the Commission and the CBN to monitor new trends on financial policies as it affects financial institutions. Responding, the branch controller CBN Kaduna branch, Ahmed M. Wali, reiterated that the long-standing robust partnership with the EFCC has yielded positive results. Wali added that the CBN will continue to formulate policies that will ensure that public funds are kept safe and advise the public not to disclose their ATM or banking details with anyone because fraudsters often take advantage of such windows to defraud unsuspecting victims. Still in Kaduna State, the EFCC has restated that tax evasion is a financial crime that falls within the purview of the Commission and will not hesitate to wield the big stick against tax evaders. The head Kaduna Zonal Office of the EFCC, Sanusa Abdullahi, made the disclosure when he led his team on a courtesy visit to the Federal Inland Revenue Service FRRS Kaduna State Office. Abdullahi assured the FRRS of the EFCC's continued collaboration and intervention in the recovery of all lost taxes as they continue to engage with tax offenders. In his response, the FRRS State Coordinator for Benue, Kaduna and Niger State, Sheikh Uthman Al-Hassan, noted that the EFCC has been of immense support to the FRRS in the area of tax recovery. He described the visit as a timely one that will create more room for further engagement between the two agencies of government, especially in the areas of public tax education and enlightenment. Aisha Muhammad, reporting for The Eagle.
Corruption is dishonesty and illegal behavior by people in positions of trust. A public office is a public trust. Do not abuse positions of trust for private gains. Stay away from corruption. Nigeria is a great nation, and it is our responsibility to make the country greater. If you notice any act of corruption, please report to the EFCC via info@efccnigeria.org or call 09 904 4751 or 09 904 4752. You can also call 09 904 4753. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Thank you very much, Aisha, for the news update. It's still The Eagle, your anti-corruption program on TV, and today our focus is on recover with integrity. It's been very trying times for many nations in the world since the attack by the COVID-19 pandemic. Governments disbursed monies to help save situations. In most cases, vulnerability of health systems became even more pronounced as it became evident that the health sector was far, far from where it's supposed to be. Many questions raised their heads in the minds of the public as to how transparent disbursements of funds and procurement of health materials were. And after the pandemic, how do nations recover? These are some of the questions we'll be answering on today's edition of The Eagle, your anti-corruption program on TV. Let's go to the interview segment where Ngondu Ngweta chats with our guest on the show today.
Thanks for joining us on the interview segment of the program. In the chat room today is Jane Onwumere. Jane is the Deputy Director, Technical Unit on Governance and Anti-Corruption Reforms, TUGA. Welcome on the program.
Thank you and good afternoon.
How would you assess the rate of corruption in Nigeria today?
Corruption affects Nigeria just like every other country in the world. The Nigerian government over the years has actually put in quite a lot of initiatives to curb corruption. But one thing we all must agree is that while you fight corruption, corruption always fights back. So in terms of that, we would say that yes, a lot has been done combating corruption. We have great initiatives. We have the sunshine laws that actually try to ensure that we curb corruption. And yes, the rate still seems to be a bit high because we have information available to us, unlike it was in the years past. And so sometimes you may feel that the rate of corruption seems to be a bit higher. But in my view, I think it is more of the fact that there is information out there in the public. We're able to know the things that are going on. And it's actually a right step forward because it shows that there is a little bit more transparency than there was in the past. We're getting to hear, we're getting to know, and they're getting to listen more to whistleblowers. There are more platforms for whistleblowers to actually come out to, let people know things that are going on. So yes, there's still corruption, but I must agree that quite a lot of initiatives have been put in place to curb corruption.
One major event through which the world sensitizes the public on the dangers of corruption is the International Anti-Corruption Day. For the year 2020, the theme is Recover with Integrity. Why this theme?
The theme for the year is actually focused on the ills or the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. The aim of this theme is to see how we can, as a country, as globally, mitigate corruption risks that occur or occurred during and is still occurring or possibly could occur after the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic came upon the world all of a sudden. It was more of a crisis. Nobody was ready for it. And because of that, there were quite a lot of challenges. In terms of being able to meet the needs of the people, quite a lot of things have to be done quickly, drastically to solve the issues. And so the regular processes and procedures could not be followed. And as such, it left vulnerability for corruption. What this theme actually tries to look at is to see how we can mitigate those corruption risks, to see how we can recover during and after this period, and to ensure that corruption is curbed to the barest minimum. But beyond that, it also looks at a more inclusive way of doing this, taking into account issues from whistleblowers, trying to ensure that all the anti-corruption organs come together into this whole process to see how corruption risks can be mitigated, as well as even the civil society and the media. It's an all-inclusive plan to see how we can recover better, and recover with integrity at the end of the day. So this year, even at our level in Nigeria, we're going to commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day jointly.
Let's get a bit more specific. What forms did corruption take during the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Majorly is with the management of large funds on one hand, but mostly on the issue of procurement. While our Public Procurement Act has guidelines on how procurement should be done, it was not until this period of the COVID-19 that a proper guideline for procurement in times of crisis was actually drawn up. As such, we were a bit exposed to corruption risks in the process. You'll be looking at the public procurement laws, you'd know that to be able to mitigate the issues on the COVID-19 immediately, following the regular procurement processes was not going to be very feasible. Some things had to be done with speed to ensure that more lives were not lost. As such, there was actually need to look more into the issue of public procurement during the times of a crisis.
What can Nigerian governments and the citizens alike do to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic with integrity?
I'd like to start by saying, or using the slogan by EFCC, see something, say something. In other words, citizens should be encouraged to speak up in areas where they see anomalies or infractions. They should be encouraged to speak up. But I know this also has its own challenges. One, the issue of the platforms. And so more platforms should be created for citizens to be able to make these reports. We can't fight corruption without the citizens. We cannot fight corruption without whistleblowing. And so one other thing that we really need to look at is the whistleblower policy. We need to look at it critically, analyze that policy, and to see why we still don't have the level of reports that we would like to see. Going beyond that, we actually need the whistleblower protection law. It probably would encourage citizens to report more.
Tell us a bit more about the program, talking about the International Anti-Corruption Day coming up in 2 days' time.
Globally, the 9th of December has been set aside to commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day. It's to bring to our remembrance the need to fight corruption. The issue of corruption, as I said from the beginning, is worldwide. It's not something suffered just by Nigeria or any of the sub-Saharan countries alone. So it's important that annually we come back to assess what we have done as a people in curbing corruption on the one hand, and also creating awareness on what we have done and what we can still do as a people to curb corruption. Annually, there is usually a theme, which is a global theme. The theme for this year is United Against Corruption, which is the slogan, but specifically Recover with Integrity. This is focused on fighting corruption during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. As we have always done since 2009, the Interagency Task Team of Anti-Corruption Agencies come together to commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day on the 9th of December annually to discuss critical issues on the anti-corruption agenda. It's also an avenue to build synergy, cooperation and collaboration between the agencies, and beyond that also to engage the public. At these events, heads of anti-corruption agencies and regulatory agencies are made to give a scorecard of the work that they have done in the past year, and citizens are given the opportunity to engage with the heads of agencies. Beyond that also, we have a high-level seminar where heads of agencies will be will use as a platform to give a scorecard of an account of the work they've done in the last year. But beyond that, specifically this year, we're going to be discussing the issue of the COVID-19 pandemic, how it has affected us, and how we can recover with integrity. But one key issue that has been on the mind of many Nigerians is the issue of asset recovery. They want to know more about what's going on, how much assets have been recovered, and what they are being used for. This is an opportunity to hear from the key anti-corruption agencies, how these assets are managed.
And your last words as we end this segment of the program?
All inclusivity. We need everybody to join in the fight against corruption. First of all, we need synergy, cooperation, and collaboration between the institutions of government. We need to work strongly together to maximize the resources that we have to be able to curb corruption to the barest minimum. We also need to engage the civil society. When I say, I mean the public and everyone. We must join our hands together to fight corruption. The fight against corruption cannot be left alone to the government. We all matter. And we must all come together to fight corruption.
We've been speaking with Jane Onwumere. Jane is the Deputy Director, Technical Unit on Governance and Anti-Corruption Reforms, TUGA. Thanks once again for coming on the program.
Thank you.
My name is Ngondu Ngweta. We'll join Martha for the rest of the program.
Thanks for staying tuned to The Eagle, your anti-corruption program on TV, coming to you from the EFCC through the NTA. The talk today is Recover with Integrity. Now, to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic with integrity, a lot of measures must come to play. One of them is dealing with corruption headlong. How can we do this? Becomes the question.
About corruption, I feel like if we are sincere to ourselves and if we follow due process, I think corruption will be able to stop.
To the best of my knowledge, the only way out to fight corruption in Nigeria, first of all, it started from our leaders. Because there are certain leaders that we have here in Nigeria that are actually the problem. The leaders that we have in different parastatals, because corruption starts from them. If it can be controlled from them, then definitely from the junior, we can control corruption.
We just have to be truthful to ourselves. Let's be clean. All those hide and seek packing, it's not really good. It's really affecting in Nigeria. It's corrupt. Sometimes I would say, I'm not sure Nigeria will even change because they are born into that corruption. But I pray something like that will change someday. That's my prayer for Nigeria.
Now, coming down to what Nigeria can do to fight corruption, my own humble opinion is very simple. Get a system that works. We just need a system that works. Look at America, look at Dubai, look at other countries. What did they do? What are they doing that is making them to dictate, to know how things work out for other countries? They need to get a system that works, as simple as that. Dictate everybody transaction, dictate everything concerning everybody. How much are they supposed to earn? Government workers, what is their salary like every month? Somebody's salary for a month is 500,000, at the end of the month is getting up to 5 million, 50 million. And if the system works, you dictate such thing, you ask questions, and this person cannot answer these questions. It's as simple as that. You know that this person is indicted. I think for me, we must, first thing first, get a system that works.
Corruption is a cankerworm, na cankerworm. I said na cankerworm, na cankerworm. Corruption don't finish our country. Nigeria women rise up and come together, oh yeah. Every woman come out, but we fight corruption together, oh. Every woman fall out, but we kill corruption together, oh. Them they thief our money, send them obodo yibo. Children they suffer every day. Better school in no day. Nigeria women come, oh, women from every sector. Make we fight corruption, we won't kill our country. Them go collect money for light, chop the money, light we no see. Good road and good health, we no see. I said nakanka wamu, nakanka wamu.
Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption. Naija, now we all know.
Thank you very much for staying with us on this edition of The Eagle. We'll be back same time, same station next week. Now, if you have questions or comments, send us an email on theeagle@efccnigeria.org. I take it again, theeagle@efccnigeria.org. On all our social media platforms, it's @official EFCC. @official EFCC is one word. Now, if you have petitions, please send them to info@efccnigeria.org. info@efccnigeria.org. And for personal visits concerning matters of economic and financial crimes, our offices in the 14 zones across the country and the corporate headquarters in Jabi, Abuja are always open to you. My name is Martha Eche, saying to recover with integrity, we must stand against corruption. God bless Nigeria.